Hey guys, welcome to Mixed Media Art LS. The LS just stands for me, Lisa. Today I'm going to talk about colored pencils in art and what artists need to know, whether you're a beginning artist or a seasoned artist. At some point, you're probably or have probably played with colored pencils. And over the last few years, there's been a shift. And more people are seeking out colored pencil art. There is a robust and growing art market for colored pencil art in 2026. And like I said, it's driven by greater appreciation for the technical skill to use colored pencils, to blend them, and just create interesting, beautiful art. I mean, some colored pencil artwork, original by the artist, has sold for over $5,000. And again, we're talking about strictly colored pencil art. So that is pretty amazing. It's even being recognized now in very prestigious art shows and galleries. So that's a way, it's really come a long way, because before it was not recognized in those areas. If you hear a noise before we get started, you hear like it's my heater, because it is still very, very cold. There's still ice on the ground, and I'm still freezing. So, my heater, my little personal pan-sized heater is right here. Okay, so I have two things of colored pencils. These go with these. These are all individual colored pencils I have bought over the last year. They are the Caran d'Ache. The Caran d'Ache. I have these, which are the Luminance, and the dark ones are the Caran d'Ache Museum Aquarelle. It's right there. So that's those, and these are the Caran d'Ache Luminance. Now these are sold individually. And like I said, I bought them over the past 2025, picking up one or two at a time when I would go to Jerry's Art Arama. And I don't have a wide selection of colors. You see a lot of greens, a lot of browns and blues, a lot of nature colors. And that was on purpose, because that is what my art really focuses on. So those are the colors I purchased. The dark ones are more expensive than the wood ones, and I only have about 4 of those. But I love buying just the colors I need. When I run out, I just have to buy one. So why do I have this set, which is Cezanne? Because I got these on clearance at Jerry's Artarama, and I thought today we're going to take a look at them, and then I'm going to show you the way to blend colored pencils. These are not watercolors. These are not oil pastel pencils. These are colored pencils, plain and simple. But they can be blended in certain ways. Okay, so here are these. And, oops. There's one behind this one too. Okay. Did y'all see that? These not only flip open, but these flip out like that. So pretty fancy cardboard box, I will say. And it came with this little 24 color. We're going to do this. We're going to swatch them. because I never used these before and I need to see how they feel. Sorry, I'm trying to get comfortable. See how they feel on paper. Then we'll talk about the paper we're going to be using. But first, we're going to just do our little swatching on this little card. And we're just going to go by numbers. So 029 is this one. And it is primary blue. I'm just pressing very lightly, but I'm going over it several times. And I'm also going in circles and going up and down. And once we get all of these swatched, I will tell you why I'm doing that. Okay, so there's primary blue. Okay guys, I'll finish doing this later. I just wanted to do a few so I could get the feel for them. They're actually very nice. They cover okay. You can still see a lot of the paper through them, but they're not bad. They aren't super expensive, and if you like them, the only bad thing I see with them is when you run out, you have to buy the whole box again. Now, let's talk about how do you get the best coverage and how do you blend how do you get the best blend for colored pencils? And one thing is you need to make sure they are all nice and sharp. So these all are not. So I'm gonna go sharpen these 4 and I will be right back. To use a colored pencil where you get the best from your colored pencil, you need to do a couple of things. You need to make sure that your pencils are sharp, and you need to make sure you start light. Don't just start by coloring real hard. And I'm going to show you what I mean. Start off really light where you can barely even see it on the paper. Okay, so start real light. And I'm going to do a little green gradient here where we're just starting off really lightly. But this is how you can blend your colors together. And again, these aren't watercolors. These aren't oil pastel pencils. They're plain watercolor. They are plain colored pencils. So once you get your base layer down, then you come back and do it again. And see, it starts to build up. But besides going in one direction, go in circles. And the reason you go in circles is because you get better coverage. So you're going to go one direction, but you're also going to go in circles. You can go up and down, and your color is going to start to get darker and darker. And we're going to do this, and I'm blending the colors together there on the end. And then on this end, we're going to start going in circles, so we darken it up some. And they're blended together. But I'm not seeing a lot of paper through there. And then this last one, we're gonna blend it in, and we're gonna just go over it and do your circles. And that's how you get it darker and darker. And lightly touch. The lighter the touch, the better it'll blend in. And you can see the blending And on the parts where I've gone over and over, you don't see the paper through it. And you don't have to press hard. You just go over it and over it. And just go over it and over it. And it starts to blend together. And lastly, don't rush. If you rush, it's not going to be blended. You're not going to have good coverage. The paper is going to peep through your artwork. Now, how do I like to use colored pencils? Because I'm not really a whole art colored pencil person, not yet. But I like to use them as accents on my paintings. Because you can do things with colored pencils that you can't do with acrylics, with watercolors, with oil sticks, with oils. And I'm going to show you an example here. This painting is all acrylic paint, but the blades of the grass, the individual grass blades you see, are colored pencils. I also like to use colored pencils to highlight around other things. And let me grab, hold on a sec. And what I mean, I also like to use them to highlight. Let me get a pink. This is an oil pastel. And I'm gonna make a quick flower. Example's sake. A quick flower for example's sake. There's my flower. Another way I like to use my colored pencils is to outline. And what I'm going to do is get a really dark navy. Okay, yeah, this is a very dark navy. And this is another thing I like to do with my colored pencils, is outline other mediums, whether it's acrylic paint, oil paint, soft pastels. But this is how I like to use my colored pencils. Now, will there come a time when maybe I try to create a whole artwork just of colored pencils? Of course. But I love using them this way too. And I think this way, doing the outlines with them, or adding the grass like in the painting I just showed you right there, it allows me to learn the colored pencils and get a feel for them. So as I use them more and more in the future, I'm going to understand how they work and how I get the best performance from them. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. And don't forget, hit that subscribe button with that little bell. I got these off of Jerry's Artorama, and they were on sale, like 60% off. I'll put what they are now versus what I paid up on the screen. And all of these individual ones, again, these are the Caran d'Ache Luminance and the Caran d'Ache Museum Aquarellas. These two are individually sold, so you just buy the pencil by whatever color you want, and they have. This one, of course, is sold 24 colors. I also did a comparison of very inexpensive colored pencils a while back, and I'll put the link in a card somewhere in the video. Thanks, guys.